Dear America, you're doing it wrong. You're doing it wrong, and I'll explain it to you why. Because there's no video on the internet that explains it. If you have a progressive friend, please send him this video, because I understand progressive people aren't bigots, so they're open-minded. They're willing to listen to new ideas, and I will explain why what you're doing does not sell. Okay? It's not about the diversity. It's not about the fact that you're trying to have like more LGBT characters. Look at Attack on Titan, which is the most famous manga out there right now. And it's got lesbian characters, it's got transgender characters, it's got like all of the diversity in it. No one is upset. I haven't heard a single person complain about Attack on Titan. Remember the time X-Men decided to have Storm? And people were complaining about the fact that, yeah, that didn't happen, did it? What about the time when you had Cyborg coming in DC? How many people complained? No one. Why is it? Because it was done properly. What you're doing here is a crime against culture. It pains me to see it. It pains me to see that I, as a comic book fan, I'm now seeing one manga, just one manga outselling more of the entire American comic industry put together. Wake up, what the fuck are you doing? I mean, look, okay, I will tell you the problem. The moment I see all new gay Captain America, this is what your best foot forward is. Like, literally, you don't tell me about what the character does. You don't tell me about anything of the story or anything interesting. The only thing is like he's gay. Well, so many other superheroes are gay. What is about this guy that is interesting? That's how you advertise, you morons. This whole shtick with advertisement, it's like, okay, we're having a brand new LGBT character. And if you don't like it, you're a homophobe. Isn't working anymore. It didn't work back in 2016 when you started this shtick. It's not working now. You can't shame people into buying comic books because this is what you're doing. You lack creativity, you lack talent, so the only thing that you know what to do is to try to shame people into buying your stuff. It's like, oh yes, we got this minority superhero, isn't that wonderful? And if someone says, no, I'm not interested, see the bigotry on full display. Everyone, if you want to fight bigotry, buy our comic. How about focusing on the story? How about focusing on the villains? How about focusing on what used to make comic books great? And then you can have your diversity in it. No one is going to care. But you need to have a story. You need to have something compelling. Tell me why I should buy this shit over manga. For the love of God, is it that hard? I mean, yeah, it is. It's an industry that is supposed to be on talent and creativity. Yes, of course it's hard. I remember watching the Miss America comic, by the way, which came up a couple of months ago. And it was like, oh, this is a Latinx character, and she is the product of two lesbian mothers from another dimension that can have daughters by cloning, and she's being written by a non-binary writer, and I'm like, okay, but like, what exactly is she doing? And at the end of all that presentation, after like 5 minutes of going through all of that crap, it's like, oh yeah, and she's going to fight crime and stuff. That should be the thing you're leading with. That should have been the 5-minute presentation. And by the way, you know, like, instead of focusing on the superhero's character and their attributes and their virtues, you're not just focusing on their identities. And your identities are boring as fuck and plain as fuck. You want me to give you some good identities? Okay, do you know what Batman's identity is? He's a billionaire that saw his parents getting gunned down in front of him. That is his identity. Superman, what is his identity? He's a son from Krypton, from another planet. That's an interesting identity. It's like, okay, let's explore that. Let's explore what trauma can do to a billionaire. Let's explore what trauma can do to an alien from another planet. You know, Cyborg's identity. Okay, he's got wounded, and now he's got alien tech into him. That's cool. You know, Raven's identity. She's the son of Satan. I mean, like, that's some cool identity. That's some rich, interesting identity. Now the identities are like, okay, he's black. Just like my friend, I see. What's so special about that? It's a mundane identity. No offense, but it's mundane as fuck. I mean, we get to see this in real life. Comic books is supposed to be about the extraordinary, the superhero, the thing that you don't see in real life. And then when you look at the art style, all right, I just noticed the massive drop in quality. I mean, I thought that as we progress as a society, things should look better rather than worse. Old Marvel would never put something like this out. Like, old Marvel would be ashamed to put something like this out because I see better art done on Tumblr. The internet does things better for free. When you look at it, there's more detail. It's a lot more pleasant to behold. I know art is subjective, but you can have like some objective measures of comparison, like the level of detail, for example, the amount of effort that's put in. And it's like, it's absolute garbage tier. You can actually get people on the internet that can commission art for you for free and do a much better job than this. Like, what is this? This is professionalism? This is what you're calling? And you're trying to compete with manga? No wonder you're losing. You're going to go bankrupt if you keep doing this. And let's analyze the character, right? Like, this is supposed to be Captain America with a battered shield, a battered uniform that looks completely rugged, unkempt hair, looks like a slob. And this is the representation you have as a country. If I was an American, I would be ashamed to touch this comic book. Like, I would not legitimize this comic book with my dollars, even if it kills me. Like, this is a shame. And then, you know, like, you go and you give him the red star. You're not even fucking hiding it at this point. I mean, no wonder your business is failing if you're hiring communists. Actual communists being hired in order to run a business. These people have proven throughout history that they bankrupt entire states. Do you think your business is stronger than a state in order to withhold the communist bankruptcy? No, it's not. It's not. Like, if you keep hiring these people, you're going to end up just like the Soviet Union, bankrupt, with people starving. That's what you're going to do. On Captain America, by the way, a communist superhero, don't get me wrong, could be interesting. There have been a couple in the past. But really, you're putting Captain America with the Soviet star on it? It's, not to mention, like, you know, socialism is anti-gay. Like, you know that. Like, it doesn't really match. Only in the land of America it matches. Look at socialist nations throughout history. All right? Like, tell me how many were upheld gay rights. Like, in my country, in Romania, we used to have brothels before World War II. And Romania was a very theocratic nation, except not in name. But the church had massive influence into politics in Romanian life. And they allowed brothels to exist. And their argument was that life is about a test and it's about choice. Like, they want people to have the temptation and not do it. Because that's what a good Christian does. They don't fall into the temptation. And in those brothels, there was a lot of stuff going on. Okay? When the socialists came into power, they banned the brothels. It wasn't the church, it wasn't the conservatives, it was the communists that did it. Every single socialist nation persecutes gay people. And yet you're showing me Captain America with a gay, which has the gay identity and the Soviet star. Yes, absolutely. You know, like, see what Stalin thought about LGBT community. You can even Google the story where a communist from the United Kingdom, which happened to be gay, wrote to Stalin. And he's like, I just noticed you criminalized homosexuality in the USSR. Like, how am I going to explain this to the communists in the UK? To which Stalin archives the letter by saying, a degenerate and an idiot. I mean, no, seriously, it's so American. I'm taking it back. You know, like, maybe this is the representation of the new Captain America. Yes, like, absolutely dumb, with no knowledge of history. Complete lack of respect for the way he dresses and keeps himself. Complete lack of respect for the armor. Yeah, maybe this is actually the image of America 2021. Yes, you know what? I take it back. Brilliant comic. People should read it. It's a very interesting say in what the United States is becoming. It has been great. I mean, look at the past and now look at the present. Maybe this is some subtlety that I'm missing. Maybe I should have thought about it a little bit more. The fall of the American comic book industry, the fall of an empire. That's how you should call it. Oh my God! And a teenager of all things, you know. It doesn't mean that superheroes can't be teenagers and that superheroes cannot be edgy or communist or anything like that. But when you have a symbol like Captain America, you're appealing to a certain demographic and you're also trying to say something. If that symbol is being done into this, it tells more about the writer than it tells about anything else. And I don't understand why you think people are going to spend money buying this crap. I mean, I don't think that if a manga in Japan would have like Captain Japan and they would depict him like this, people would buy that manga because it's insulting at the end of the day. I know this is hard to believe because maybe when you're in a progressive bubble in California and it blows your mind that other people might still love their country and they don't like it to be insulted like this. They don't want a symbol attached to it that looks like this. Anyway, that's just me. I mean, I'm just thinking you're alienating your audience. That's what you're doing. Like, you're alienating your audience, and you're not alienating the right-wingers. You're alienating everyone that's right of Stalin. So even left-leaning people that I know don't read comic books anymore. Moderates don't read comic books anymore. Right-wingers don't read comic books anymore. The only people that might read it are like far-left people. Or maybe some grandma that wants to buy her nephew a present for Christmas and brings him a comic book. So it's like an accidental sale. But that's pretty much it. And by the way, like they try all of these ways to bypass the consumer. Like if you're in the comic book industry and you're looking at the tactics they do, they want to appeal to schools or libraries so they can purchase their comic book on bulk. Or they go to comic book stores and they say, hey, you want to buy this comic that kind of sells, like Injustice, for example, from DC? Well, you also need to buy this other comic that doesn't sell. It's only a package deal so that they can sell more of their stuff away and put the burden on the comic book store rather than on them. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you guys in the comment section. Take care.